unknowingly. Homosexuality has been conditioned into our people. The same way that that white deity was beaten and forced and conditioned onto us during slavery, the same way that that Miss Independent, I don't need a man mentality was indoctrinated in us during slavery, is the same way that homosexuality was conditioned and forced and raped into us during slavery. It is not part of our African culture. Male homosexuality actually derived from ancient Greece, and pedophilia actually derived from ancient Rome. And that is why still today in the Greco-Roman Catholic Church, men still engage in sexual relations with young boys. And they have many artifacts and statues that prove that this is something that they've been practicing all throughout their history. In Africa, we don't have artifacts and evidence that prove we practice homosexuality. Now, there are some people that try to use our ancient Kemetic ancestors, Neankh-Khnum and Khnum-Hotep, and they try to use an image where they are depicted nose to nose, and they try to say that that is where homosexuality originated from. But much evidence and many historians suggest that they were twins. They were twin brothers, and that's why they have the same name. They both had wives, they both had children, and they were overseers in the same palace. And they were buried together, and that is why they are depicted that way, because they were twin brothers. There is no evidence that homosexuality was practiced in Kemet or anywhere in Africa. During slavery, gay slave owners would actually grease up and shine up our young boys, and they would put jewelry and women's clothing on them, and they would use them as sex slaves. That is one of the many methods that slave owners use to demasculate and devalue the black male. They would take fathers out of the homes, leaving young boys with nothing but the influence of their mothers. They would take the masculine alpha male on the plantation, and they would make examples out of him by beating him and killing him and even sometimes raping him. They would even take their women and rape them in front of the male, and he would be able to do absolutely nothing about it. And those that did do something about it, those that did react, were killed as well. And so for a young boy to see this, it actually takes value from the role of a masculine black man. It brings resentment towards the masculine black man. He doesn't want to grow up to be anything like him. And that is still happening today. It's still happening in modern day. Only now they have the media to further propagate their agenda. Look at the television shows that appeal to black people. You have Empire, Love and Hip Hop, Prince and Elite's Big Frida, Fashion Queens. You have a television show where black preachers are gay, and in the black community, preachers are leaders. So what message does that give to our young boys? Also, they have these rappers now that are so feminine. They wear makeup, they wear women's clothing, and their rap and their lyrics all degrade black women. They are constantly calling women bitches and hoes and saying how much they don't love them. And the men that are consistently talking about black women in a negative way and saying that they don't love them, they're actually really just suggesting that they don't like women. They actually prefer men. And these are the role models that our children have to look up to now. Our black men are being targeted now. And that is because a gay black man is less of a threat to white supremacy than a heterosexual black man. Now, I know a lot of brothers and sisters will say that they were born gay, but there is no evidence that suggests that black people are born gay. And the evidence that they have provided was actually funded by the LGBT community itself. And so that's kind of like the FDA providing research saying that GMOs are healthy. You can't really trust that. That's not really a credible source, because they're going to tell us anything if they're funding it. They're going to tell us anything to carry out their own agendas, you know? And so, and as far as funding goes, the Black Lives Matter movement funds the LGBT community. They fund the LGBT movement. The 3 women that founded the Black Lives Matter movement are gay women themselves. The Black Lives Matter movement to me is a lot like President Barack Obama. It's a black face, there's a black name, it appeals to black people, and black people think that they are committed to the needs of black people, when in all actuality, they are more committed to the needs of the LGBT community. What is it that the Black Lives Matter movement has done for black people besides spread awareness? Which is not something we really need. I'm pretty sure that we are all aware that we are being killed. But they have raised over $500 million. What are they doing with that? Where are the schools? Where is the land? Where are our infrastructures? They are not really doing anything for us. They are funding the LGBT community. And the Black Lives Matter movement itself is funded by rich white men, white supremacy. And they support the LGBT community because the LGBT is population control, which is white supremacy. And so that is why I do not support the Black Lives Matter movement. If Black lives really mattered, they would be condoning something that promotes more reproduction of the Black life and not reducing the Black life. They would be endorsing something that is going to cause us to reproduce less. And that is something that the LGBT movement does. It promotes us not reproducing as much. It's population control. And so that's pretty much all I have to say about that. I'm pretty sure, like I said, a lot of people were offended by this video, but you all should know by now that nothing that I say, there is no topic that goes untouched. And I don't ever say anything to intentionally hurt anyone's feelings. I just give insight. And so that's really all I have to say about that, family. Peace and love.